Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. I'm Chris. Yoga for back strength and mobility will help release stiffness and tension in the back by improving flexibility through slow and purposeful movements. This proactive way to build strength and mobility in the spine is just what everyone needs. So grab your mat and let's get started. We're going to begin in child's pose, knees apart, feet together, hips to heels. We're going to walk the hands wide on the mat, out forward in front of you, really stretching things out. Start to tuck your chin, bring your forehead to the mat. If your forehead doesn't go to the mat, use a block and just relax into that stretch, feeling the back lengthening, and then tune into your breath. Inhale and exhale. Not only are we stretching the back, but right around the armpits and shoulder area. Feel that breath coming in and out as your belly rests between your thighs. One more breath. And then you're just going to take your head slightly off of the floor. Continue looking at the floor. Bring your fingertips to tents and then walk both hands to your right. Really reaching them to the right. Press the palms into the floor and then start to shift your hips to the left. So you really feel that stretch through the left arm, the left hip. Let your head go back to the floor. Finding your breath. One more. And then you'll lift your head, hands back to tents. Gently walk the hands toward your left. Shift your body to the right, pressing the palms into the floor. Let your head float down between the arms. And of course, make adjustments to what feels okay to you. Focusing in on that breath, noticing if one side is tighter than the other, maybe one hip. One more breath. And then you'll lift your head, fingertips like tents, walk them forward and reach them out. Hook your thumbs together, fingers and palms on the floor. Draw your head towards the mat and just really stretch down the middle. Deep breath in. And then we're going to start to lift the head, unhook the thumbs, walk the hands in a little bit closer to the body. Spread out those fingers, pull the shoulders away from the ears and start to shift up to tabletop. Draw the knees underneath the hips, tops of the feet on the floor. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and then start to lift the head. Feel those shoulder blades kind of sliding together as you try to open the chest here. Lift your tailbone so you get a nice arch in the back. And you're just breathing. Find your neutral spine. Look down at your thumbs. Now, while you're here, your back is nice and flat. Just try to push into your hands, almost like you're rounding through the upper back only, separating the shoulder blades, but not overarching the back, or no rounding the back. And then draw the chest towards the floor, lift the head, lift the tailbone, arch again. So we're not going into a cat stretch, mostly the cow, the arching. Slight flat back, level it out. Just a little press through the hands, stretching through the upper back, those shoulder blades, and then flat back, lift the head, Lift the tailbone, nice arch there. And don't forget your breath. And then find your neutral spine again. From here, slide your right toe to the back of the mat. Press into the ball of the foot. Again, really pull those shoulders away from the ears. Lift your right foot off the floor. Feel those core muscles starting to work. Optional, lift the left arm to the front of your mat, thumb is up. Starting to warm up the muscles of the body, activating that core. Find your breath, looking at your thumb on the floor. Then bring your hand to the floor, fingers wide, knee to the floor. Maintain that neutral spine. Again, you're still looking at the floor. Extend your left toe to the back of the mat. Push into the ball of the foot. So you can really find your stable, steady core. Nice long spine. Lift your left leg off the floor. Notice the difference on this side. Extend the right arm forward, thumb is up. Left elbow is soft, finding your breath. And then bring your hand to the floor, knee to the floor. Level things out in the spine. Lift the head and the chest again, arch the back. Feel the belly pressing to the floor. Nice little extension, stretching it. And then find your neutral flat back. Chin tucked slightly. Push through the hands on the floor. Just a little extension through the upper back, but not over rounding. And then back to neutral spine. Now from here, we're going to walk the hands out in front of us. You're going to start to hinge your hips back towards your heels. And then as you come down, try to lower your elbows to the floor. Fingertips spread out for puppy pose. And you can draw your forehead to the mat. So you still have a nice long spine, stretching more through the shoulders. Some of you might want to be able to bring your chin to the floor, but that's more of an advanced move. Take it where you feel comfortable. Maybe your elbows don't quite go to the floor, but that's okay. Maybe you bring them in closer to the body. Find those adjustments. Another breath. And then from here, you're going to lift your head if it's on the floor. Start to slide forward so your upper body goes over the elbows. And then just tuck your toes under and slide your legs straight back so you come onto your belly, finding your Sphinx Pose. Lengthening through the spine, spread out those fingers. Pretend like you're pulling yourself forward with those palms. Feel like you're pushing your legs backwards. So you're really stretching again through the belly, extending through the low back. As long as there's no pinching, impingements, you don't want to feel any nerve pain. And find your breath, lengthening through the neck. Feel the shoulders pulling away from the ears, elbows pushing into the floor, and the head pushing towards the sky. And as you breathe, feel the belly expand and relax. And then we're going to look over the right shoulder and just check in with the neck. And then slowly transition through the center to look over your left shoulder. And breathe. And then back to center, chin to chest. Stretch through the back of the neck. And then the head comes back up to neutral. Now you're going to slide your elbows out to the side, lower your chest to the floor. Bring your palms next to your rib cage. And I want you to lift your head, look forward. Start to lift just your upper body, elbows pulling in towards the rib cage. Option to lift your hands off the floor. And you're still breathing. We're warming up that low back. And then hands on the floor. Good. Tuck your chin. Relax your whole body here. And then again, lift the head. Extend through the elbows towards the back. Option to lift your hands off the floor for a cobra, baby cobra. Find your breath. And then lower hands, lower the upper body. Now you're going to walk your hands out in front as wide as your mat. Just about the edges of the mat out in front of you. just slightly, and then start to press up again. And then draw your elbows inward as you press up to a variation of Cobra. Hips stay on the floor. If you have any pain, don't go up as high. Find your breath. And then we're going to bend the elbows, lower the body all the way back down to the mat. And then you're going to slide your hands a little bit closer, but keep them wide. And then maybe extend up again. Now, if you have any low back issues, this feels like a pinching, then don't come up as high again. Listen to your body. And just feel the extension through the belly. Feel those shoulder blades pulling back and down. One more breath. And then we're going to bend the elbows, lower all the way back down to the belly. Hands under the by the rib cage, under the shoulders. You're going to press back to Balasana, your child's pose. Tuck under the chin, bring yourself up, knees apart, counter stretch. Go slowly, transition very slowly. And then you walk your hands, keep them wide on the mat, gently melt forward. Belly between the thighs, head to the mat. And just feel the lengthening of the spine. Imagine all the discs of your vertebrae just leveling out as they get hydrated and expand to keep us more mobile. But we're also strengthening. We were working our strength and firing up our back with that Cobra. One more breath. Now we're going to add a little shoulder stability before we move to our downward facing dog. So you're going to bring your hands and elbows back onto the floor, lifting your hips, draw your knees in. So you're almost in tabletop, but you're on your elbows. You're going to tuck your toes. If you'd like, you can interlace your fingers. Tuck your chin. And you're going to start to lift up like you're going into a down dog. But we're working our way to dolphin. Now, once you get your hips up, first focus on the shoulders. Pull them away from the ears. Let your head just hang. It does not touch the floor. And then start to maybe walk your feet towards your head. You can bend the knees slightly and just check in here. So also we want to stabilize and get strong through the shoulders, lengthening through the back. You might want to lift a leg, make it parallel though, hips stay parallel. Lower the leg, try the other one. Hips are parallel. Good. Feet back to the floor. Start to lower your knees all the way down. Release the fingers, spread them out, and then just lift up to your downward facing dog. And then pedal out your feet, walk your dog. Moving those hips side to side, make those adjustments to what feels good to you. Melting into your down dog. Soften the knees, press your belly to the thighs, head between the arms, press those fingertips into the mat, and find your breath. Lift your right leg up, parallel, bend your knee. Pull the knee to the nose, and then the foot comes between your hands. And then you're going to lower your left knee to the floor to a low lunge. So find your low lunge. Keep your left hand on the floor, right hand on your thigh. Right thigh, make sure your knee is over your ankle. Lengthen and look forward. Lengthen through the spine, look forward. Feeling that stretch in that left hip flexor. And then start to turn your whole body, upper body, towards that right thigh. And we're not rounding through the back. We're keeping nice and tall through the spine. Feeling the stretch maybe through that hip and up into the rib cage. One more breath. Option to lift your back leg off the floor. Finding that breath. And then lower the knee back to the floor. Good. Bring both hands to the floor. And we're going to step back into plank. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and really find your strength here. Core, that lower abdominal area, the low back, the upper back, everything's getting strong here. Strengthening, and then just shift backwards to your downward facing dog. Again, pedal out the feet if you need to. Move those hips, and then melt into your down dog, knees soft or bent. Breathing. Good. Press your right foot into the floor, lift your left leg, bring the hips level. So it's just pushing towards the back wall, not going really high. We tend to overarch then. And then we're going to bring the knee to the nose and the foot between the hands so you can lower your right knee to the floor. When you come down, make sure that knee is not over the toe. Maybe bring it forward, even if you need to use your hand. Knee is over the ankle. Left hand on the outside of that thigh. Look forward and lengthen through the spine. You can have the foot untucked or tucked in the back. Find your breath and then start to rotate your right shoulder and the whole body towards your left leg. Feeling that nice twist and stretch through that right hip flexor. Might be a little more intense on the right side. If you are right dominant or you have issues on that right side or it's tight. Now, option is to lift that back leg, straightening out the knee off of the straightening the knee off the floor. And then we're going to lower the knee to the floor. We're going to bring both hands back to the floor. Step back. Find your plank. Find your strength in your plank. Pull the shoulders away from the ears, rock into the toes, and then shift back to the downward facing dog. Lengthening through the spine. Now from here, you're going to walk your feet as wide as your mat, pushing into the heels, and now we're going to bend the knees and walk your feet forward just about halfway and walk your hands backwards so you meet the hands and the feet in the middle of the mat. Turn your heels in, your toes out, and then slowly drop your hips into a yogi squat. Lengthening through the spine, pull the shoulders away from the ears, look straight in front of you. And gently pressing your triceps or the back of your arms into the inner thighs, finding your breath, and then you're going to place your hands forward onto the floor, straighten the legs, and then slowly drop your hips one more time into a yogi squat. Find your breath. Then we're going to place our hands on the floor. Lift the hips slightly away from the knees and then lower the knees to the floor. So almost coming back to your tabletop, but tuck your back toes under and then lift up to kneeling or hero. Extend the arms out to the side and then bring your right arm under left for eagle arms. And then just a gentle slide up and down of the elbows. And then you're going to find your center again. Relax the shoulders, looking at your arms. Unwind the arms and take the opposite one underneath. Left arm under and a gentle up and down. And notice the difference. Try to level out your shoulders and then bring those elbows up and down. Looking at your hands or your forearms. And then very slowly, unwind, extend them all the way out, push the wall away. Deep breath in, slight back bend. Exhale, hands to the floor, out in front of you, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. And pedal out the feet. Walk your dog. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Now you're going to plant your left foot into the floor, right leg comes up. Maybe a little higher, maybe bend the knee. Let's stack the hips, give a little opening there. Pulling your right foot over to the left. Now that right foot's going to come between your hands, and we're going to come up towards a crescent lunge or high lunge, bringing the arms up but out to the side. Lengthening out to the side. Finding your balance. Your back heel is off the floor. Good. Bring your fingertips behind your back. Interlace and open up that chest. Pushing into your back heel slightly or pushing the back heel backwards. And then release the fingers. Find your crescent arms, or cactus arms, excuse me, cactus. Open things up. And then sweep the arms down so the right arm comes under left eagle arms. Finding your breath. Now here's your balance challenge. You're going to start to tuck your elbows towards your belly, leaning forward. Kick off your back leg, finding your warrior three, but with eagle arms. Leveling out your hips, flex your back foot. And then unwind your eagle arms, reach both fingertips towards the back of your mat, like an airplane. And then step your back foot back onto the floor like a lunge, a high lunge. And then reach your hands to the floor, step back to plank. Nice and tall. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Find your breath. Tuck your toes under, shift back to downward facing dog. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Think of them how strong and stable they are, and they connect all the way to the hips. That whole back is working. Now you're going to plant your right foot into the floor. Left leg is coming up. You can bend your knee if you'd like and stack your hips. Find your breath. And then you're going to pull your left foot between your hands. Let's find our crescent lunge, but with, or high lunge with the arms wide. Either way, that back heel is off the floor. And then bring your left arm under for eagle. And we're going to unwind for a moment, go back to hands behind the back, because I skipped a couple steps. Open it up. I was in a hurry to get to eagle arms. Finding that balance, opening things up. Cactus arms, release, open things up. Feel the legs are working. And now sweep the left arm under for eagle arms. And we're breathing nice and tall. So here's where your balance challenge is going to come in. You're going to tuck the elbows towards the belly, lean forward onto that left leg, kick the right foot off the floor, find your variation of warrior three. Notice if one leg is stronger than the other. Embrace the shakiness. Unwind the arms, reach both hands back to airplane. Nice and strong core. Take that right leg all the way backwards to the floor to a high lunge. And then bring your hands to the floor. Step back to plank. Nice and strong. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Now in your plank, I want you to lower your right knee to the floor. Kick your right foot out to the right side. Pivot onto the inside edge of your left foot. And then open up to a supported side plank for a moment. Open things up. Working the obliques, sides of the waist that helps strengthen the back. All those muscles. Bring that left hand to the floor. Step back into plank. And then you're going to lower the left knee. Kick the left knee out. Pivot onto the right instep of the foot. Extend up. Variation. Kickstand on that side plank. And then bring that right hand back to the floor. Full plank again. Now you can repeat what we just did, or you can pivot onto the right outer edge of the foot for a full side plank. So again, tucking the hips, lengthening through the spine. You want to get everything nice and tight, and you're working to support and strengthen and get mobility in that back. So strength is key. Now you're going to take your left hand to the floor, pivot back to full plank. And you know what's coming next, other side. So pivot onto the left outer edge of the foot. Extend your right arm to the sky. Notice the difference. One side might be different than the other. Make variations or modifications if you have shoulder issues. And then you can always be on the elbows. And then hands back to the floor, full plank, and then shift to your downward facing dog. Pedal at your feet, walk your dog, feel the extension of that spine. You want it to feel so good. Melt your heels to the floor, bend your knees, press your belly to the thighs, head between your arms. Pressing into your fingertips, find your breath. One more breath. Now we're going to melt into the right foot, left foot, lift the right foot off the floor, level out the hips. And then pull that right knee towards your nose, and then place the right knee behind the right wrist, finding your pigeon, right foot towards the left wrist, sliding backwards, extending that left leg, so your left knee and left top of your foot is on the floor. Feel free to sit on your right hip or a block, and then melt forward into your pigeon. It's a great hip stretch, really lengthening through the spine. If you have any knee issues, or even low back, and that's hard for you, you can always go into reclining pigeon and hold the back of the thigh. So you do a figure 4, right ankle over left thigh. You can hold the left thigh or the shin. Either way. And just relax here. Notice what's going on. You can even walk the hands forward if you'd like. Noticing your breath, inhale and exhale. Now from here, we're going to start to work our way out of a forward fold and lifting up our upper body. So you're really stretching again through that hip flexor, the front of the thigh, the rib cage, maybe go onto the fingertips and lengthen, and then draw the palms towards the floor. Just noticing how it's getting a little easier. Tuck your back left toe under. Maybe lift the knee off the floor. And then lower the knee back to the floor, tuck your chin. Start to level out, straighten out your spine as you slide your right foot back to full plank. Pull the shoulders away from the ears, and then shift to downward facing dog. Level out those hips. If you notice, we're not doing any vinyasa flows here. Keeping it slow, really just focusing on strength and mobility of that back. Especially if you have any sciatic or low back issues going on. Now you're going to melt that right heel into the floor. Extend your left leg up, leveling the hips. And then bend the knee, pull the knee to the nose. And then bring that knee to the floor. Find your pigeon on the left side. If you have a knee issue, feel free to go into reclining pigeon, laying on your back. Doing a figure 4 with that foot over the thigh. And then just ease into it. Again, you can sit on a block if you'd like on that left hip. And then working your way forward, melting into it. You can have your hands stacked under your forehead, maybe reach it forward. And just breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Wiggle the toes. Notice what's going on in the hip, the hamstring. It's all connected up and affects that low back. Finding your breath. Breathing down into the belly. Feel that spine just, again, lengthening. Feel those hips pressing back. One more breath here. And you'll start to just lift the head off the floor and then start to walk the hands in closer to the body, lengthening through the spine. option to bring the fingertips to the floor like tent so you can really extend. So you feel that right rib cage, right hip flexor, never arching, like never pinching or overarching the back. You don't want to force it. So if that bothers your back, you can lean forward a little more and not come up as high. But a lot of times our hip flexors get short and tight. They rotate our hips. It can pull on our low back. So we really want to just lengthen and open up the front of the body. Now another option is to tuck your back right toe under. Maybe go to your palms on the floor. Maybe lift your right knee off the floor. If that's too intense, just keep it down. Listen to your body, that is key. And then lowering the knee back to the floor. Tuck your chin under. Now what you're going to do here, we're going to change it up a bit. I want you, if you're on a block, take your block out and sit on your left hip and pull that back right leg forward. And you're just going to cross the foot over that left thigh. Now if it doesn't go over the thigh, you can bring it in front and just give it a squeeze or even straighten out that left leg. But take your left arm, hug it into the right knee, reach your right hand back, lift and twist. Find your breath. Breathing in and out. One more breath. Then we're going to do a counter stretch. So stay where you are, but just rotate the upper body so your right elbow goes inside the right knee. Open up the hand, left hand behind you as a kickstand. Lengthen through that spine. And then look behind you, over your left shoulder. And then we're going to release, unwind, sitting, facing the front of your mat. Unwind those legs. Bring the feet out in front of you. Now you're going to have your left knee bent. Tuck your right foot underneath. And then bring your left knee in or across the right thigh. Right arm is going to wrap nice and tight around the left knee. Left arm behind you. Lengthen and twist. Look over your shoulder. So it feels like you just went back to the same side, but we switched legs. And just feel that nice stretch in the glute, in the hip. Try not to slouch. We're nice and tall. Now we're going to counter stretch. So bring that left elbow on the inside of the knee, palm open, hand behind the back. Lengthen and twist and look over your right shoulder. Feel the outside edge of your ankle pushing into that right thigh. Left ankle into the right thigh. Now we're going to release back to center, unwind, straightening out those legs out in front of us, finding your Dandasana, your staff or stick pose. And sit up nice and tall, flexing the feet. Let's start by pulling the right knee into the chest and then just let it fall open, sliding the bottom of your foot into the thigh, knee, or shin, wherever it feels okay to you. If your knee is up really high, you can put a block or a pillow under that right thigh. Flex your left foot, reach the arms to the sky, take an inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Reach to that left foot, or the hands can be on the knee, the floor, whatever feels good to you. Now think about that long spine. That's been our focus here. Really lengthen through the spine. Feel your crown of your head reaching to the sky as you lean forward. Now that might change where you can reach, and that's okay. Once you're there, keep the spine long. Just drop your chin to your chest. That's it. Don't round through the back. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Find your breath. You might feel it maybe through the right hip instead of the left. You might feel the left hamstring or calf. Everyone's a little different on where they feel this, depending on where you have a little bit more tension or restrictive tissue or tight muscles. Now you're going to bring both hands to the floor if they're not there, and use your hands to lengthen the spine and walk yourself up nice and tall. Slowly bring that right leg back out and hug the left knee in. Give it a squeeze, and then we're going to let it fall open. Your foot can be against the thigh or anywhere along there. What feels good to your knee? Again, put something under that thigh if it doesn't want to drop. Right toe up. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, fold. Reaching forward, lengthen through the spine. So try not to collapse and round like this. We want to really lengthen, lift, so the belly and the hips are pulling forward, rotating through those hips. And it might be different from one side to the other. And once you're there, draw the chin to the chest. Shoulders relaxed. Find your breath. And again, notice this side. Maybe it's more the calf, maybe hamstring, maybe low back on the left side. One more breath. And then you're going to slowly bring your hands to the floor, lift your head, start to straighten all the way up into a tall seated position. And we're going to bring the bottoms of both feet together for butterfly. Just let the knees go open and close. And then we're going to hold on to the ankles. And then we're going to lengthen through the spine, pull the elbows down towards the rib cage as you start to hinge forward. Again, staying tall through the spine. Then you can start to draw the elbows out and maybe the chin comes down. So again, staying tall through that spine again. We don't want to collapse or round. That does throw a lot of pressure on those areas on that low back. And then we're going to lengthen and lift. And we're going to hug the knees into the chest. Give them a squeeze. Now here, while we're lengthening, lifting, toes up, draw your chin, maybe a little upper back stretch as you lean away from your knees. And then inhale, lengthen. Good. Option to lift your feet off the floor as you're hugging your knees. Maybe start to extend out further, extending the legs. Again, nice and tall. If it goes into your low back, please hold on to those thighs. Otherwise, reach those hands. So working the core, obliques, nice and tall for our boat pose. We're just going to hold it here for a moment. And then we're going to extend the arms out. Option for right arm under left, eagle arms. And lengthen and lift. Notice that the belly might start to work a little more here. And we're going to unwind the arms, extend them out. Try the left arm underneath. Lengthen and lift. Might embrace the shakiness if you have any shakiness going on. And then slowly unwind, extend the arms. Hug the knees, keep the feet above the floor if you can. And then extend the legs forward. If you need to scoot forward, you can. You're going to lower all the way onto your back and walk the shoulders away from the ears and then bring those feet flat onto the floor. Reach your fingertips towards your heels. And then we're going to turn the toes in about 1/2 inch and then press into the feet and lift your hips to a bridge. Drawing the knees in, option to interlace the fingers and maybe walk the shoulders underneath the back, as long as this feels okay to you. Find your breath. One more breath. And then we'll walk our shoulders out, unlace the fingers, lowering the hips to the floor. Now from here, we're going to take the right ankle, cross it over the left thigh, push your right knee open for a figure 4. And then you're going to take both hands, you're going to reach the right hand between the triangle of your legs, lift your left foot off the floor, hold on to the left thigh, and pull that left knee into the chest. At the same time, push your right elbow into your left thigh. No, right elbow into right thigh. So you open up the knee as you pull it in. A little extra stretch. And then slowly release your left foot back to the floor. Uncross the right thigh with the right ankle. Then take the left ankle over the right thigh. We're switching legs. Open up the knee, figure 4. Then you're going to lift the right foot off the floor, reach through the center, hold on to the right thigh. Press your left elbow into the left thigh as you pull the right knee towards the chest. Maybe flex your left ankle. You can even try rotating it. Notice that stretch. Good sciatic stretch for the hip, the glute, even the back. And then you're slowly going to release that foot back to the floor. And you're going to hug your left knee into the chest. And then from here, extend your right legs to the front of the mat. So nice little hip stretch here. Hold on to that left shin or knee with your right hand and pull that knee over to the right side. Bring your left arm open like a cactus arm, looking at that left hand or elbow. Nice little twist. Find your breath. And then we're going to bring that knee back to center. Turn your head back to center. Hug that left knee into the chest. Flex both feet. Heels pushing to the front of the mat. Keep the feet flexed as you switch legs. Extend your left leg to the front of the mat. Hug and squeeze that right knee into the chest. You're going to keep holding on to the right shin or knee with your left hand. You're going to pull that right leg to the left. Reach your right arm out. Bend the elbow to cactus arms. Look towards the right. So nice little twist here. Find your breath. Relax into it. Take a deep breath in and then let it go. Come back to the center, head to neutral. Hug that right knee into the chest. And then place the foot on the floor. Bend your left knee. Place both feet on the floor. Reach towards your ankles or your heels. Turn your toes in about 1/2 inch and press up to a bridge. Might feel a little easier. And remember, you're lengthening the spine, not trying to overarch. And then gently lowering those hips to the floor. And you're going to hug your knees into the chest, give them a squeeze. And then bring your hands behind the knees onto the back of the thighs. And then start to draw big circles with your knees on the ceiling. So your knees are pointing to the ceiling. Your feet are hanging out down by your butt. Just bent knees and then circle it around. So you're massaging that low back. You want this will feel good. Big, big circles. And then you're going to start to make your circles a little bit smaller. And a little bit smaller. Until you get to the middle, and then you change direction. Start small circles, going the other direction. And then slowly start to make those circles bigger and bigger. So then those knees are making nice big circles on the ceiling. Massaging out that low back. One more circle. And then we're going to hug the knees into the chest, give them a squeeze, and then release the feet to the floor. Relax the hands next to the body, and then gently extend the legs out to the front of the mat and just let them fall open, finding your Shavasana. Opening up the chest, notice what's going on. Feel how elongated your spine feels, maybe your hip flexors as well now. Shoulders pulled away from the body, from the ears and out to the sides of the body. Palms are open, eyes closed if you're comfortable to do so. And just find your breath. Feel the heart open. One more breath. And feel your body now melting into the mat. Feel everything relax a little more. No tension. Notice where your feet are. Notice your hands. Notice your ears. Notice the big toes on both feet. And feel the connection from the big toes running all the way up the legs, through the torso, through the neck to the crown of the head. And all the way back to the big toes. Start to extend the fingers, stretching them out. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, relax your hands. You can start to move your legs, maybe bend your knees, place your feet flat on the floor. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana if you'd like. You can tuck your hips under. You can roll to a side. You can hug the knees. Just take your time working your way up, coming slowly up to a seated position, sitting up nice and tall in an easy seat, tucking the chin, aligning the shoulders. Notice the strength of your core and the length of your spine, palms down. Close the eyes, take a deep breath in, and exhale it out. Feel the shoulders relaxed. Reach up with the arms, deep breath in, touch the fingers. Exhale, palms to heart space. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.